Looky what I found here. It's like pine maybe? Just some construction lumber I found on the side of the road. Might be about 5/4. Uh, I think it's finally time I make something so that I can transport the track in. Let's see. Tracks are normally about 55 inches. We got 59. All right, so 2 inches on each side. 57. Yeah, this is actually gonna be long enough. We put them together. And 6. I think a track's about 8 inches wide, somewhere around there. Yeah, it looks like we can use this. I'm not gonna bother filming any of the gluing up process. I'm just gonna go ahead and glue it up. But at least it gave me a chance to use this biscuit joiner. I haven't pulled it off the shelf in maybe 15 years, maybe 20 years, somewhere around there. But I'm just gonna put some biscuit holes in there, stuff some biscuits, and then glue it up. The only problem is I didn't film where I screwed up, which I like to do. But I took time into going and I guess centering the biscuit holes and everything, and then I found out the board was really warped. So I had to go plane it down. When I did that, the biscuit holes weren't centered, so I flipped them around and did the other side. After I made selections for the grain and everything, that all went in the tubes because, well, I should have planed them first. Anyway, that's a good reminder. Maybe you should prep the lumber first. I didn't put much thought into it. It's not like I'm making a piece of furniture, so yeah, plane them first. But now I got some decorations around the border now, some biscuit holes, but it's not a big deal. Once we got that plane and just a tad bit sanded, I marked it. Originally, I was thinking keep an inch around the whole border to add protection to the rail. However, this is one thick board. Even after I planed it, it was down to like an inch. So it was very heavy. Well, not very heavy, but heavy. So I think I left about a half inch around the edges and 3/4 inches on the cut edge. My memory maxed out, so it seems that I lost some of the footage. But all I did was I took a template bushing. I made a wood template and I routed out. Well, we just hogged out as much as I could, without it looking kind of weird. Then we just flipped it over and with a trim bit, we cleaned it up. Oh, here. This is where I screwed up. You can see right there, right behind. That template bushing I must have bought like 20 years ago, and it's plastic. I don't recommend that. I think if you're gonna do anything, go and get the solid brass one. The kit was nice; it has every size, but if this was something important, I just ruined it. So yeah, go get the solid brass. Now we're just rounding on the edges. I tried to go with the max amount of round over without it looking weird. That way I could lighten it, I guess, was my thought the most. So we just went maximum round over that was still natural looking. And I just rounded every edge, inside and outside. And actually, I had no plans when I started, but what I thought was we'd secure it with the holes on the rail already, the ones meant for hanging. Those holes, I didn't measure it, but I assume is in metric. I have only standard bolts, so the holes, if you use a 5/16, it fits perfectly in there. However, I wanted to create a shoulder, which you'll see later why for, so that, I guess whenever I put the nut on, it'll bottom out. And then I also I didn't have any 3/8, knobs. or 5/16 knobs. I had 1/4 inch knobs, so I had to figure out how I was gonna use what I had. What I did was I cut off the heads of the 3 bolts. I put them in there, measured the maximum length I wanted it to be. And we put on a lathe and we turned it down to 5/16. That way the rail would fit on it. Then I took maybe the top 3/4 to an inch, and I took it down to 1/4 inch, so that right there I could thread it with 1/4 20, so I could use the 1/4 20 knobs I had. That's it. I haven't pulled a long time too, so it's very difficult to even read. I couldn't even find the 1/4 20. But we got that taken care of. Once we did that, we'd have to figure out how we're gonna secure it, because originally in my head I had no real plans. I thought I just epoxied in there, but it's not gonna work in case the idea sucked and I wanted to change it later, so we had to make it removable. So I found the corner bracket, cut it in half, and I thought I'd just tack it on there and then I could screw it on, and if it doesn't work, I could just remove it. Anyway, that was the plan anyway. Right now, I'm just marking more or less center so it didn't look too off. Then I was gonna drill a hole in that half a corner bracket and then just tack it from the back, because I assume that's the way would mean the least cleanup afterwards, I guess. Because I don't think I was gonna paint it, or I wasn't gonna do anything. No finish on this or paint or anything, so I mean it's just a board to carry the rail around in the back of the pickup. So we just tacked it on there, and took some time to put everything away. I cleaned it up a little bit, but not very much. I mean, you can see it's pretty raw. Now here I was thinking, wow, if I didn't throw it in the back of the pickup and I threw it in the back seat, it might catch something because it'd be sticking up. So I was just gonna take the chisel and I was gonna, chisel out that section to make it flush. But then, you'd have to be perfect, and I measured almost nothing on this whole project. So I thought something with a little play would be better. So I decided to just route out a whole slot. That way, there'd be some play. All I was thinking is make it route it out just slightly bigger than the width of that half corner bracket, and then we screw down where we need to. So very simple, just a slot. Probably not as aesthetically pleasing as chiseling out a section, but it's okay. So now that we got that done, just a matter of screwing it down. Screw down the first side, and then I measured with the rail to make sure it was just exact, because you don't want to be fidgeting trying to get it in the slots. You want to just go there and just drop it in. So you want right where it's supposed to be. I was pretty much happy with that, but now I was wondering, gee, that there's only a 1/2 inch overhang, and I'm worried about that corner there. If I ding that corner, making use of accessories would be very difficult. So I was like, oh, I think of methods, and my first thought was put a piece of board on the bottom, but that just added a lot of weight, so we scrapped that idea. I found some 1/4 inch, just some 1/4 inch scraps, and I just made a piece to cover both ends. I'll just protect both covers while I'm at it. Both corners while I'm at it. Again, nothing special, and I just glued it up. It's not even fastened, so I'm not exactly sure how it's going to hold up. But it does work out pretty good. I mean, if I find something better later, I'll change it. But this is the first shot. And again, I had no plans. We're just kind of rolling through it slowly. pretty much covers it. I'm kind of done. I mean, I don't know what more else to do. So here I'm just testing, make sure there's a little play, just a tad little play. I didn't want it to be, you know, firmly against the wood, just in case the wood decides to warp a little bit. I think that should about do it. This right here, I'm not sure if you can see it. Let me get close there. But there's a lip right there. So this bottoms on that lip, so it cannot squeeze and put pressure on the board against here. So even if you tighten this down all the way, this still has play. It's you can see it there. You can still move it around. I've done that because this board was straight at one point. You know, we planed it all out so it was completely flat and straight on both sides. But once we cut out these holes here, let out some tension in the wood, and it did twist it just a little bit. So I don't know if it's picking up. I don't know if you can see the twist at all. Maybe from this end we can't hear. We can see the twist, but there's a slight twist. If you put it down on the table, you can tell. I mean, yeah, like it'll. There you go. See that there? It'll rock a little bit. That's why we have that little gap there. So it's actually floating on the board. I mean, ideally, maybe should have been done out of some plywood or even some MDF or something. Maybe if I have to do it again, I'll try some 1/4-inch plywood. But the whole idea was to make it without spending any money. And, you know, this lumber was construction lumber that someone threw in the bin, and you know, I pulled it out and glued it up. So this is basically made for free. Well, not virtually, but I didn't have to buy anything, just stuff I found lying around the place in the garage. And I'm not sure if I'll round out any of these or even put a handle. I think if we put a handle on, I'm going to use this board, not in the shop. I mean, in the shop I have this long tray up here where all these sit. So it's perfectly safe in the garage, you know. But this is designed for when we throw it in the truck and go somewhere. And if I put a handle on, I'm not sure if that handle would get in the way. I might put a handle later, or maybe a strap or something. But for now, I think I'm going to leave it like this until I find a need to put a handle on. I mean, these rails right here make a good point to grab. You know, it's pretty good. So for now, I think I am done. I mean, I might decide later to put a little something right here and right down here, so you can put a strap and you can carry it, you know, on your back or whatever. But this project is done for now, and I'm gonna go back and work on something else. All right.